Good day and God bless. Welcome to the October installment of Breadcrumbs. If you are joining with us for the first time, we'd like to say welcome to you. If you are back with us again, we'd like to say welcome back. And as always, we encourage you to like, and share. October installment of Breadcrumbs is entitled Remain. My brothers and my sisters, with all that's going on and with all we still have yet to face, I want to reassure and reaffirm a few things for you. I want to reassure and reaffirm that God has a plan for your life. I want to reassure and reaffirm that you have everything you need either in you or at your disposal to do what God has called you to do. I want to reassure and reaffirm that success is guaranteed to the obedient. Psalms 1 says, "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the seat of the sinners, or sitteth amongst the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth fruit in his season. His leaf will not wither, and whatever he does, it will prosper." During these times, we must be able to recognize and have proper responses to the events that take place in our lives. We must recognize contrary chatter and live according to what God has said. We must recognize the power of the ability to let things go and to move on. We must recognize that you cannot let your self-worth depend on the other's opinion of you. We must recognize timing and stop wasting energy complaining or giving negative moments we experience a voice louder than the voice of God. These places, points, and perspectives usually become overwhelming and or are exacerbated by dissension, seeds of discord, and disagreements cloaked under the umbrella of conflict. If I can help a few folks in this moment, I would help you to understand that conflicts are common. The real question is, can you handle conflicts and still complete your assignment? Because the enemy will have you feeling like what you're doing and what you are going through has too much opposition for you to be doing a good thing. He'll have you feeling like what you are up to and what God has called you to is not worth it. But who told you it would be easy? Who told you it would be seamless? Who told you that things would just fall into your lap? I have come to understand and learn that sometimes God's promises you might have to work really, really hard for. But this I know for sure, and this I take strength and find refuge in, and that is, come what may, God will place a passion for your purpose deep down on the inside of you that will push you to continue the process and complete the work. I've shared all of this with you because it drops us into Nehemiah chapter number 6, where we find Sanballat and Tobias and others who get word that the people of God have come to rebuild the wall. That they've gotten to the place where everything is just about done, just the gates have not been placed in. Sanballat sends a message saying, "Come join me and have a talk with me so we can talk about what's going on." It is Nehemiah who knows it's a trick and says, "I'm doing a great work, and because I'm doing a great work, I cannot come down. And why should the work come to a standstill just for us to have a conversation?" It is this conversation that goes back and forth 4 times, and it is on the 5th time that Sanballat sends Nehemiah one more message, and that message says, "Look, we know what you're up to. We know that you want to be king, and we know that you are getting ready to cause a rebellion. We know that you are setting things up and doing things that are contrary to who we are and what we want to do. And we know that you have plotted something bigger than what you're actually saying." It is Nehemiah who says and sends a message back to him and says to him, "You know none of this is true, as do I, for we know you have made it all up." And what he comes to a conclusion and he realizes is that he says to them, they've been trying to intimidate us into quitting. They thought that we would give up, and they thought that we would never finish. I want to encourage a few folks who've been feeling like you are going through, and what you've been going through has been pushing you to a place of intimidation where you feel like quitting. I want to talk and encourage a few people who have had their hands to what God has gifted, called, and or empowered them to do, where now you feel like it's pushing you to a place where they want you to quit. I have one truth and one word that I want to share with you, and that is remain. Do not come down and do not quit. You have to maintain something known as staying power, which is the capacity for continuing. You've got to go on without weakness. Remain, endure, abide, outlast the intimidation. Do not be discouraged by the delays and the denials that you may face, but you've got to remain. Do not be deterred by the disappointments that you will run into on that journey. You've got to remain. Do not be discredited by distractions, but remain. I hear the word strong echoing in my ear, and that is hold your place. Therefore, my brethren, be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the works of the Lord. For as much as you know that your labor, it is not in vain in God, you have got to remain. And let us not grow weary in well-doing, for in due season we will reap if we faint not. You have got to remain. Remain where God has placed you. Remain in the things of God. Remain consistent, for God will give you the strength to see this thing through. You must remain. And as always, you have as much time as God has given you to accomplish this. And I'll see you in November.